Welcome to the Cashing In on Creativity podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge, and this is episode number 76. And today we are going to talk to a very talented artist. We're going to talk to David Foster. Now, David is part of the group. If you remember back in April, we had the Oakville Oasis Drawing Bee. And David's the leader of that group, or at least I think he started it, if you remember the thing correctly. And so we're going to talk to him about what he's doing today. He's an animator, so we're going to talk to him about his animation, about what he's doing, the projects that he's involved with, and how he got started. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with David Foster. All right, so I'm here with Dave Foster. How are we doing today, David?
Not bad. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for doing this, Bruce.
Good. You're welcome. So we are at the Oakville Oasis Drawing Bee, and you're kind of the leader of the group, and we've talked about the Drawing Bee. But tell us about how you got started in art. Let's talk about you for a minute.
Well, my grandfather painted. He was an engraver. My dad was a civil engineer who did watercolors.
Yeah.
So we used to just copy our dad. And he also taught engineering design graphics.
Okay.
So he had us grade his university students' assignments when we were like 5 and 6 year old.
Right.
Just putting a tracing paper over, marking the differences in that. So I knew all that stuff, and I was good at it. And in grade 6, we were drawing comics, and I gave up on it by the end of middle school because I was too critical of my own work, and I find that's really common for people.
That's a common trait. Artists are all that way. I'm still that way today.
A lot of people don't even do art because they're too critical of their own stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I never did anything in high school or until 1992. I was trained drafting, and I did the college-level structural drafting course in '82 in Texas. Yeah. And I was 14 years old, and I had a diploma for structural drafting. Yeah. So I was still doing drawing, but it was all technical. And the reason it was okay for me was because it was either right or wrong.
Yeah.
None of this, is it good enough, not good enough? You know?
The building's either going to stay up or fall down. Those are your two options, right?
So in '91, I was working on AutoCAD, computer drafting.
Yeah.
And I just got interested in drawing again. I just wanted to draw again. So I picked up Betty Edwards' Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain.
Right, yeah.
Which I highly recommend. And there's like 6 or 7 exercises that if you get yourself through them without killing yourself with frustration, then you'll see so much improvement. And that's what happened to me. And then I got into, people were saying I got to do something with my life. I was 25, so I applied to Sheridan Art Fundamentals intensive, and I had to show a portfolio. I got in, so that's where I practiced all the stuff that I drew, all the stuff that I learned from drawing on the right side of the brain. So I got honors in that. I actually got into animation, and the only negative, there's like 10 or 12 positive things about my portfolio to get in. The only negative thing was not enough imaginative drawing. Right. So I just got frustrated because I thought they were working for me to give me the tools for me to do my animation. And it was the other way around. Right. I was working for them so that they could get me hired at a studio. Yeah, so I dropped out after first year, but I kept at it. The liaison of Independent Film of Toronto, LIFT, a camera room attendant at Sheridan mentioned LIFT. So before the days of the internet, I found them. They were on King Street. I became a member, and you can do anything you want. You can do the craziest. If you do anything that's negative, you're solely responsible for it. But you can do the craziest stuff. You can do the most socially unacceptable stuff. So much so that you can even do religious stuff.
Wow.
So, and they kept bugging me to go for a grant to do animation. And I kept saying, well, when the drawings are done, I had this project paddling down the Humber River the night it froze over. And I kept saying, when the drawings are done, I'll go for a grant. Well, 5, 6 years later, the drawings still aren't done. So then I go for the grant, and then the clock is ticking. I got 2 years to get it done. So I got that done. And so I had a grant from the Ontario Arts Council to finish Hypothermia, My Kayak Prayer, and a grant from LIFT. And then I just never did any marketing or anything.
Okay. So those projects are done? They're finished?
Those are all done. Yeah. This is actually a still from Hypothermia, My Kayak Prayer.
Right. So I want to talk about a number of things there, but so you must be very religious because a lot of your work is on religion.
Yeah, I'm spiritual. I'm a practicing Catholic. I cantor in the choir and everything. I'm a member of the men's group, and I'm very involved in a pilgrimage to Martyr Shrine that